I want to start this video off by saying it is currently 2 in the morning on April 13th, 2025. And I stayed up until later in the night, even as you're watching this, my dear viewer, my dear underworld entrepreneur, watcher of the underworld. I'm not editing that out. I don't care. I stayed up this late, writing for you, scripting for you, recording for you, editing for you, so you can get this video in your feed bright and early at 3:45 on a Sunday. Like the video. Hey, what's going on, guys? Your boy Ghost here, and today, as I record this, the marathon gameplay reveal was a couple hours ago, so I'm going to catch you up on everything that they showed and maybe even some stuff you might have missed. Before I start, I'd like to say this is the alpha version of the game, so everything I say and that you are about to see is subject to change, okay? I've got about 8 pages of notes, so let's dive right in. Marathon is still a hero-based extraction shooter and is launching on September 23rd, and will not be free to play, but will also not be $70 according to Bungie. We'll be getting an official price point in the summer. A closed alpha of Marathon will be launching on April 23rd, and if you would like to sign up, most of the Marathon channels on Twitch and X are currently doing code giveaways, but if you want a kinda sorta more surefire way of getting a code, you can join the official Discord and sign up for the alpha. The closed alpha is strictly under NDA, so no information will be spread about the subject when the alpha comes out, and there won't be much to talk about until the teased beta comes out, releasing sometime between the end of the alpha on May 4th and the release of the game. The version that we saw today had no solo mode in it at all, and the only option that I saw was to group up with 2 other friends that you already know, and to my knowledge there's no matchmaking. Please feel free to rectify me in the comments below. The game does have a down but not out system, allowing you to crawl away to safety. If your crewmate is unavailable to grab you in time, you can self-res as well. There's no indication on how many times you can self-res, nor how these are acquired. I'm assuming you're going to have to buy them. Fully dying does not mean the end of the game though. You are able to still be fully revived from dead if your teammates are alive to do so. All you have to do was go up to their loot bag and basically interact with it for a longer period of time than what you would be if you were actually being revived. The playable characters in this game are called runners, and there will be 6 of them at the launch of the game that we know, but we only saw 4 in this gameplay today. Every character has a prime ability, think of it as your ultimate ability, and 3 other abilities are passive. Now let's talk about the first one, Void. Void is for the people that enjoy stealth in games like these. They want to be more basically in an espionage movie, thinking 007. They could throw the smoke bombs out, cut off an entire line of sight, hide in the smoke, and then swing out on somebody that don't know they're there. Now let's talk about their abilities. Void's prime ability, Smokescreen, throws a line of discs that emit smoke in front of you. The tactical is active camo, which is pretty self-explanatory. You go invisible, and anything that you do that's offensive, taking damage, or using a consumable will momentarily disrupt invisibility. Void's third ability, Shadow Dive, allows them to dive from the air, smashing a disc on the ground, similar to Trapper's Ambush on Void Hunter in Destiny 2. Void's final ability, Shroud, ties the entire kit together, making it so whenever you enter smoke, it makes you invisible immediately, which is amazing because the amount of abilities that allow him to go invisible. I'm definitely looking forward to trying Void in 1v3 scenarios because I feel like his smoke could definitely be the thing that you might need to level the playing field against teams. Now for the runner that I'm looking forward to playing the most. Glitch is the runner I'm most looking forward to playing to because, as you guys know, I love movement in shooters, and man does Glitch have all of it and then some. Glitch's prime ability, Amplify, overcharges your movement systems and reduces heat buildup of movement abilities. Heat is basically the stamina system in Marathon. Using this ability also increases movement speed and weapon dexterity. Her second ability, Disruptor, transforms your arm into a cannon that shoots an energy projectile that deals damage and pushes targets away. Holding the ability button for longer overcharges the cannon, increasing the size, damage, and the strength of the push. Microjets, the third ability, basically allows you to double jump but also generates some extra heat for doing so. Her passive, Power Slide, allows you to do a supercharged slide that also generates heat. When they introduced Glitch for the first time, they classified them as a disruptor, and I definitely see why. If played correctly, you can get in there fast, cause a bunch of havoc, disrupting the enemy team, and be out of there before they even notice you or your teammates are already behind them, ready to kill them, or be a distraction long enough so you can kill them yourself. This is more than likely the first runner I will play if I get access to the alpha, and I'm genuinely looking forward to playing as them. This seems like a character that fits my playstyle absolutely. Blackbird is the recon runner, great for aggressive crews or crews who prefer to know someone is coming to avoid being snuck up on. Echo Pulse is Blackbird's prime ability, activating your shell's advanced detection system, releasing a series of sonar pulses that reveal the location of nearby hostiles, great for finding that one person who got away or looking for your next target. Tracker Drone is Blackbird's next ability, and it deploys a mechanized micro-robot that tracks down nearby hostiles and explodes, overheating any target hit by the explosion, making it so they can't run away from you. Great for planned ambushes against unexpected enemies, or a great reason to distract the enemy while you come up from behind. Stalker Protocol activates upon breaking a character's shield. When you break that shield, a lingering holographic trail follows behind the target for a short period of time, making it even easier to activate Interrogation, another one of his abilities. Whenever you perform a finisher on a target, it marks the entire enemy team, making them even easier to clean up. And if they even try to ping you on your way over there, you will get a warning letting you know that you were just pinged by an enemy team on your HUD. With Blackbird's abilities, you'll be able to be safely aggressive on any enemy in the area, along with having the reconnaissance to be able to make the decisions you need to win the game. All in all, you really can't go wrong with having one on your team, and he seems like a viable asset to have on any team. Moving on over to Locus, this is the tank of the roster, but don't get it confused with the stereotypical versions of tank in other games. This guy has a lot of horizontal movement mixed with a good amount of defense and explosive aggression. Locus's prime ability, Search and Destroy. Activating this ability turns on your shoulder-mounted missiles, and dealing sustained damage to a target launches them, immobilizing them, and dealing damage upon impact. With this offense must also come a good amount of defense, and that's why he has the Riot Barricade. It's an energy barricade that blocks damage but also drains ability energy, and if you need to get out of there quickly after the barricade breaks, he also has a thruster, which activates whenever you jump again after activating a jump, thrusting you in the direction you are currently moving. And if somehow, some way there's still some distance between where you want to be and where you are now, you can activate Tactical Sprint to double your sprint speed to get to where you need to be, while also building some heat. Now those are all the runners we saw gameplay of out of the alpha. Now we do know that 2 more runners are coming at launch. We do not have the official names of these 2 new runners yet, but we do have the code names that they used during development, courtesy of the creators that went out there to play the game. Thief, which we believe to be this character shown on the screen, can see high tier loot through walls and in loot boxes. They also have a drone that they can send around to steal loot that may also have a grappling hook. Really interesting. I need to see more of her. We also have a medic character that has the ability to heal their teammates, along with boosting the healing power of consumables. One thing that I was very excited to hear is that there are no restrictions to the amount of runners you can have on one team, so you can go ahead and run around Tau City 4 with 3 glitches if you want to. Speaking of Tau City 4, let's talk about the maps and the loot on them. The gameplay that you see, it takes place on the map called Dire Marsh, which is on the planet Tau City 4. This specific map seems pretty big, with a wide variety of sight lines, enclosed and outside places, multiple spots for verticality to come into play, along with a good amount of greenery and water to hide in. But really, the most important part is that this map looks amazing in my opinion. The dark, grimy, foggy world counteracted with the rain that makes it look even darker, amazing. And I can't wait to see what it looks like with dynamic weather when that comes into play. We might even see what it looks like when it's sunny outside, especially after looking at how beautiful the map looked in the live action trailer that they showed at the end of the stream. It looked amazing. Granted, like I said, it is live action, but I could dream, okay? Dire Marsh can have up to 18 runners on at a time, but they did say the player count will vary per map, alongside multiple factions of AI combatants. These AI combatants are no pushovers though. There were multiple high tier enemies that one person even saw a higher tier enemy with a purple shield that took 4 heavy melees and a MAGA SMG ammo at point blank and still did not die. In fact, that enemy downed him and almost killed him. Granted, in the gameplay, that SMG did look like it shot Nerf darts. I need to see what the actual damage numbers on, but I was not really a fan of the SMG looking at it. One of the devs basically said that there's an enemy out there that's basically a ghost, just like Void, but when you see him, he can spawn clones that look exactly like him, and by the time you realize which one is the actual real enemy, it could potentially be too late. So we'll actually see, because that sounds really fun to play against until it actually happens to you. So hopefully there is a way for you to understand and see which one's the real one, because if not, that's going to be kind of annoying. Hey, what's going on guys? Editor Ghost here, jumping in to talk to you a little bit more about Marathon at 6 in the morning. I forgot to go over the whole information explaining how the story of Marathon will be told. This game will be more than just an extraction shooter. There will be a story behind it with lore as we learn more about Tau City 4. Bars. They said there's going to be multiple secrets throughout the multiple maps explaining how it was going to work, how we got here, and why we're looking for this stuff in the first place. Even I heard some people saying that some of the maps are going to have quote unquote Destiny raid like mechanic, which is really cool, and I'm really excited to get into. Hope that deals well. If the ARGs are anything to show, we have a long road ahead of us of nothing but secret hunting, and everyone who's been playing Destiny for a good amount of time knows Bungie does secrets well. Now, one last thing about loot. If you look on screen right now, this looting system after you kill a player will have basically a wheel that shows you, I think you have to be in the inventory for a certain amount of time for the ability for the loot to reveal itself. I don't really know how it works. I know it works kind of the same in Tarkov. I'm not too sure. I hope they will go more into information about that sooner rather than later. All right, I'm going to give myself back the microphone. Have a good rest of your day and enjoy. Moving on into loot, there will be multiple tiers and types of loot spread all about Tau Ceti. Implants are small upgrades similar to mods that can boost your runner in small ways. For example, there's an implant to slow down heat buildup or heighten your resistance to toxic or tox. Or mods that are called cores that are kind of like passive abilities that can be used on all runners, except there are rarer ones that are runner specific. The devs do go out of the way to say that build crafting is still important in this game, and now seeing the mods and seeing the potential to match up mods with cores with a specific runner, they mentioned that there's a rare one for glitch that adds a triple jump, which could be really cool. We want to see how the build crafting works in this game, because build crafting in PvP really could be fun. Attachments and shields can also be found all across Tau Ceti with multiple rarities of each and even some exotic attachments that completely change the way the weapon works. They also mentioned that a variety of different grenades can be found while exploring Tau Ceti, similar to like toxic grenades or smoke grenades, and I can already imagine running around with a backpack full of smoke bombs on Void. And if you're ever low on money, the standard lootable valuables are also still in this map. You can collect them, get a bunch of them, and extra with them to get the money you need. Outside of the small gripe I had with the SMG before that I don't really know is true, the gunplay we did see looks clean and fluent as all Bungie shooters do. We see a variety of weapons used throughout the entire stream, like a single fire assault rifle, a projectile SMG like I talked about before, a sawed-off shotgun, a knife, and I'm sure there's more because they already showed us a bunch of them during the most recent ARG, and there are snipers like I said, but they do have glint. And I'm saying this because I'm watching Dr. Lupo during the stream. This man swings the corner and his head popped off, and all I see is a glint. There are mentions of multiple factions throughout the stream. These factions have different quests you can complete, and I'm assuming they will give you rewards and unlock more quests you can do that progressively amp up in difficulty, bringing you to more and more heavily guarded areas around Tau Ceti 4. And if during any of those runs you go in with the last amount of loot you have and somehow still die, they'll have these things called sponsor boxes that they can give you with a good amount of loot and the materials that you can get on your way to go fight some of those higher end enemies and higher end players with good loot to get your stuff back. I really do enjoy this feature though, because there's definitely going to be players, me included, that jump in with a bunch of stuff and lose it and have absolutely nothing, and so instead of having to go in with just a knife, you can go pick up a sponsor box and use that. They also made it clear that the weapons and items that do come from this sponsor box are not trash. They're going to be fairly usable. In fact, they said you'll be fine using them against higher geared players if you're skilled enough. So I'm glad I'm not always going to be dropping in there with nothing but a knife. Like I mentioned earlier, there will be areas of the maps that will be more heavily guarded, and those heavily guarded areas will have better loot. They also mentioned a store called the Black Market, so you can jump in there to spend some of your currency to get some higher end items, or just to help yourself regain if you don't have a sponsored box. And that's really all I was able to get from the Marathon gameplay reveal. So what do you think? Are you interested in Marathon? I am, but cautiously so, to be honest. Now hear me out here. I really am excited for this, but it feels really weird that they are releasing a closed alpha for a game now and still expecting it to get all the feedback it needs from this alpha and implement it, then presumably run an open beta after that, implement that feedback, and still have the game out in September. A viewer on my stream countered this statement by saying they did the same thing for D1, and I agreed and moved on. But now thinking about it, do we all remember how Destiny 1 launched? I don't think Marathon can afford to go through that, but as a Destiny player, I know Bungie makes their best work when they're under pressure. It shouldn't be that way, but it is historically. I don't want to be playing this game telling myself to keep playing because it's going to get better, and I don't think other players will do that to begin with. All in all, after watching the gameplay reveal, I'm still impressed. In fact, I may be more excited than I was before it, and I'm still looking forward to playing the alpha if I can. But, and that's a huge but, I would not be surprised if my feelings on this game shift along with the other side of the player base. I have always seen the allure of these genre of games, and I've just not found one for me, and I hope this is it. I'm just worried because of the time they have to do it. Let me know what you guys think, and if I missed anything in the comments below, how are you feeling about Marathon? Let me know in the comments and in the stream. Have a good one, and remember to stay safe and stay spooky. Peace.